3-on-1, the odds may ever be in your favor in that regard, but they hardly ever are. Dimitrova off the feet from Howard, count the basket and a foul. How about the pass there from the young point guard through traffic into that lower block?
This team very good at finding their teammates in open situations, especially the two guards of Howard and Newsom. Howard actually second in the conference in assists with 5.2 a game.
Converting the three-point play, Dimitrova has her first 3 points of the night. 12-8 North Central leads in the early going. First quarter of play, 5:50 to go.
The last time the Cardinals were home, Dimitrova actually played extremely well and kept this Cardinal team in it all the way up until the end, where they just couldn't pull it out.
Katie Rossetti has back-to-back field goals for the Pioneers, draws to within 2. Brennan, stutter step into the lane, kicks deep.
And the only way you're going to get any sort of experience is time on the court. So you have to work to better yourself, to get that time, and to earn your time. And you have a few of these Cardinal players that are doing that early on.
Knocking down the layup, Sierra Gruber, and also drawing a foul on Hannah Vickus, who got twisted up underneath the basket. Three-point play is no good, but we have ourselves a tied ball game, 12 apiece. Newsom with the rock in her hands, looking to create something into the lane, blocked from behind. Gruber swatting it away. High dribble, no call for the carry. Blocked by Dimitrova. How about that, right back at you. Brennan and Dimitrova checking out of the game. Excuse me, that was Newsom out of the game. Dimitrova remains in the contest. She works defensively in the lower block and disrupts that shot. And that's flash touch by the Pioneers. The shot missed by Rossetti. Into the game for the first time, Allie Pearson and Paige Dessenberg. Howard gets the Cardinals into the half-court set. Pearson trying to flash into the lane and nearly turned over. Dessenberg, cross-court Pearson. Nowhere to go with the basketball. Good handles over to Dimitrova with 6 on the clock. In and out, no good. As she scampers back, Pioneers held up in the backcourt by Howard. And an offensive foul called for a second time tonight against the Pioneers in that far corner.
Getting a little too anxious with the screens early on.
12-12, 3:46. The Cardinals haven't scored in a while. Lindsey Brennan leads the way with a couple of triples, has 6 points. Dimitrova with an old-fashioned three-pointer, and Newsom with their own 3. So, in a way, you could say the Cardinals are without a true 2-point field goal almost through the first quarter. Nice entry pass down low to Dimitrova, works her way underneath, and there it is.
Ask and you shall receive.
Creativity down low for Dimitrova, worming her way to a basket.
And she's just gotten better and better in the post over the last season or so.
That one skips off the rim the other way. Hayden Braun into the game as well at the backup point guard position in place of Ty Howard. Down low, Rossetti. And she gets the basket against Dimitrova.
That's too easy. You got the help defense has to come over and help shut off the left hand.
And a travel called on the Cardinals despite the missed. We'll make that the make. So it remains 14-14, and Rebecca Foley will check into the game for the first time tonight. Hannah Vickus comes out. Cardinals 3-10. And like I mentioned 10 or 15 minutes ago, they have dropped 3 straight. Carroll is 6-6. They're 1-2 in the conference. The Cardinals are 1-3. Hayden Braun flying up the floor. Finds Foley. Cuts against the grain. Into the lane. Underhanded shot, no good. Cardinals discernibly pressing on the offensive end, it appears.
Yeah, after the early hot streak shooting from deep, they're kind of struggling to find the rhythm in their offense in the last few minutes. Outside of the Dimitrova bucket, they haven't really got much inside.
Pretty good crowd on hand, especially in the student section. The marching band also in attendance tonight as students arrive back on campus following winter break. 3 from straight away, no good, missed, and Foley gets the long rebound. Hayden Braun, yeah, outlet pass. Goes right back to Foley. The quick trigger 3, no good. Hauled in with one hand by Mitrice Smith. Gets it back and draws a foul. Oh, or creates the foul.
She does a good job on the boards on both ends of the court. Right there showing that she really likes to battle for those offensive rebounds.
A freshman from Kewanee, Illinois has stepped in and, like you said, cleaned up a lot of rebounds for the Cardinals.
And she's been a big help in that regard off the bench too. One of the younger players that are contributing and earning time on the court.
Teresa Wixer misses the 3. Into the lane, Pearson taking it coast to coast. Not a lot of wiggle room underneath there.
Not at all. But it's nice to see some of the aggressiveness after we mentioned some lackluster offense over the last couple minutes.
Outside controlled by Amanda Hooks, who has checked into the game off the bench. 60 ticks remain here in the first quarter. Cardinals lead by 2. And a deep 3 taken, clanked off the back of the iron, no good, but an offensive rebound pulled down by Schwantes. Now she has the basketball and a travel called as she took a step at the elbow. Newsom will play the point. Howard remains on the bench. 40 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Newsom hesitates, loses the basketball. It's picked away. Driving, Majerus hands off. The layup missed, but no attempt for the rebound on the other end of the floor.
Got to box out. So far, Cardinals kind of struggling with the defensive boards. Not a lot of boxing out, and the Pioneers getting a lot of hands and fingertips on a bunch of these rebounds.
Cardinals have one too many on the floor. Now Foley checks out to make it a legal 5. Howard back into the game as part of a 3-player swap. 1 of 2 made at the free throw line by Hooks. And it's a 1-point game. Cardinals lead 16-15, and this could be the final possession if they play it right. Shot clock has been turned off. Into the hands of Howard. Bounce past Brennan, into the lane, kicks outside. Newsom, wide open 3 off the front of the rim, no good. 5 seconds remaining, plenty of time to do some damage with into the front court, heaved up, and with that, this first quarter has come to a close off the miss from Haley Harrigus. Up and down first quarter, and the Cardinals displayed a lot of good, but also some bad, some pressing, some inconsistency.
Yeah, and it's tough to do that, especially when you're not playing the best of basketball as of late, but all things considered, they still hold the lead here. They're still doing a good job on the defensive end, holding the Pioneers at bay, and you really got to just build off of that and improve your offense.
Pretty even across the board between these two teams, 35% from the field. Cardinals have knocked down 3 3-point field goals. The Pioneers haven't found their way to a single trade tonight. Really no difference. You go up and down that. Usually, and this is the way my mind works, is when you look at the stats and you compare the two teams over a course of time, usually you'll see some sort of discrepancy why one team is faring better than the other. There's a reason this is a 1-point game and these numbers are almost identical.
Well, the thing is the 1-point margin, you can accredit to the 3-pointers that the Cardinals have hit. It almost seemed like over the last 5 minutes or so of that first quarter, it was more or less Carroll kind of taking control of the game. But because of that hot streak early on, the Cardinals were able to stay in it and come away with a 1-point lead at the end of the first.
11 combined turnovers in that first 10-minute stretch. We'll see if these two teams can clean it up here in the second. I will say not a lot of fouls as the slate is wiped clean. Both teams with 0 team fouls to begin the second as Howard jacks up a 3. Buries it from the corner.
Howard finally rewarded after standing in the corner for what seemed like forever.
Gives her team a 4-point advantage. Coming back the other way, passing out. Now into the lane, the shot deadens on the back of the rim. Gruber able to knock it down. Do you get the similar sense that every time the Cardinals seem to hit the basket, Carroll comes right down on the offensive end and responds?
Yeah, and that was kind of the story in the first quarter, because the Cardinals would hit a 3-pointer, and then, of course, Carroll came back and responded, which is why they kept themselves in the game and kept it a close game, even though the Cardinals had a 1-point margin.
Rossetti with the field goal, banked it home off the glass, and now Walls possesses outside the 3-point line. Brennan trying to find Dimitrova, no entry. Howard now in isolation, into the lane, sidesteps, she loses the basketball on her way to the hoop. It looks like she might have gotten interfered with, although tough to tell. .8:34 to go, 19-19 between the North Central Cardinals and the Carroll University Pioneers. Two very good teams. You can count the juniors on one hand.
Which is not something you can say very often.
And no seniors. Sierra O'Neal is the lone senior for the Cardinals, but she's in street clothes, hasn't played aside from a 3-minute stretch in one game earlier this season. So the youth wave has taken over for both of these programs as Dimitrova misses her first. And what you can say, and I've talked to a lot of coaches about this, it is a trying time because you have to really stay on top of your roster in the sense of instilling a culture, a regimen. But also at the same time, it's like putty. You get to play with it, you get to mold it, you get to create something that is entirely yours as a head coach because there's no tendencies that have been created. Shot missed on the other end.
Yeah, and you can see just by the way the Cardinals are playing, they're constantly trying different lineup schemes, constantly switching up. Whoever has the hot hand is at least getting an opportunity to ride that, and they're trying a bunch of different things. And that's obviously going to happen, especially with a brand new coach and a brand new system. So it like you said, very trying time, very trial and error time. So we'll see how everything kind of shapes as the season gets into the latter half of the schedule.
Sierra Gruber knocks down a couple of free throws, and that has given the Pioneers a lead. Swung around, Pearson with it on the wing, kicks it across. Howard has hit 1 3 already, sends that one into the crux of the rim. Thrown up ahead, and the shot missed. No foul called. Gruber thought there was one. Pearson alone on the wing for 3. Too strong, planks off the back of the rim. Take 2, no good either. Jump shot taken from the elbow and knocked down by Alyssa Cruz, the second leading scorer for the Pioneers, and now they have their largest lead of the night at 3 points.
Well, you really have to, at this point, improve your interior defense if you're the Cardinals, because obviously Pioneers aren't getting much from beyond the arc. So they're really going to try and pound it down low, and you got to respond.
Kicked out, 3 taken from that far wing, and just as you say that, Gruber knocks down the 3. Lead has exploded to 6 points for the visiting Pioneers, and that is beckoned head coach Maggie McCloskey backs off the bench and calling a timeout. 30-second break. We'll keep it here for the moment. 7:09 to play here in the second quarter, and the Cardinal defense, which looked pretty stingy early on, starting to show some leaks.
Yeah. Pioneers have found something that is working for them right now. Obviously, they're excelling down low and getting good drives to the basket early on. And it's kind of flustered the Cardinal defense a little bit. And now with their first three-pointer of the game, you got to at least gotten good looks from beyond the arc. It's not like they're just chucking them up and they're bad shots. They're moving the ball well, and sometimes they're just getting open looks from beyond the arc, and it's okay to throw those shots. But you got to start working it down low and getting your looks inside as well.
Travel called on Dimitrova, a little perplexed at that call. Not me, her. 6:30 to go. Hayden Braun checks in. Cardinals coming up with a big win a few weeks ago at Augustana, and you kind of felt like maybe that was a turning point for this team as the basket underneath converted by Gruber, who's enjoying a very successful second quarter now. Gruber up to 11 points on 4 of 6 shooting. Dimitrova pounding away underneath, sends it off the bottom of the backboard. But he felt like that Augustana game was going to maybe change the course of the season, and then they come back and they lose an absolute heartbreaker. It was a 1-point loss to North Park in overtime, 83-82. They'd exhausted all their resources and coming back in that final quarter only to lose in OT, and since then they've been 1-6.
Yeah, and like you said, that Augustana game could have very well easily been a turning point for this team in this season. But to come back and lose a heartbreaker like that, it really puts a damper on any sort of momentum they had after that, especially with the way that game ended. It's a game that was very winnable, just a poor judgment call and a costly mistake.
Braun with a point-blank look at the net, sends it across, no good, and foul on the other end as well on Braun. And it will be the Cardinals' second team foul. Also Braun's second, as Hannah Vickus checks back in for the Cardinals. Back into the game, Haley Harrigus for the Pioneers. Gabby Atkins also checks in. She inbounds the ball to Harrigus and gets it right back in the corner. Lots of ball movement here. And now 9 seconds on the shot clock as Majerus goes to work. Jumper good. Some really good defense for the Cardinals, denying access into the lane, and finally a contested 18-footer drops.
Yeah, you can't really argue with how you play defense in that possession. Just a good set of jump shooting there. And they've displayed that early, so you got to respect it.
Dimitrova tried to slide and avoid an offensive charge, and instead turns the ball over. Now a 3 for Atkins, elbows around the rim, and Pearson has it in her hands. Takes it to the rim and able to bank it home.
I'd like to see Pearson get a little more, or a few more looks going to the rim. Obviously that coast-to-coast earlier, and then just now, she seems to do pretty well driving to the rim, even though we know her for her shooting ability.
Seven on the shot clock. Majerus with it. Hit that jump shot a moment earlier. Backdoor pass, reverse layup, and it's good for Schwantes. Majerus is playing very well right now, commanding this offense. Screen set for Vickers as she rolls to the basket. Instead, the ball swung around, and Pearson takes the three, and she'll rattle that one home. Five straight points for Pearson, and she has the Cardinals to within 4. Without her effort, I don't know where they'd be right now.
She's quietly having a really good game for the Cardinals. Hit a 3 earlier, and now, as you said, the last 5 points.
3 from the corner, airballed, and a foul on the Cardinals. No, foul on the Pioneers, excuse me. That was on Schwantes. To your point, Pearson, yeah, 4 of 6 shooting, 2 of 4 from behind the arc. Couple of rebounds, 10 total points. She leads the Cardinals coming off the bench.
And from what we've seen out of Coach Bax this season thus far, she likes to ride the hot hand. So if Pearson's going to continue to play well, she's going to get more time on the court.
Cross-court pass, Pearson tracks it down. Was not able to get a shot off with the missed pass. Now gets it in the hands of Brennan. Vickers will take a high arcing 3. And Maitri Smith cannot convert on the offensive rebound, and Pearson taken down on the jump ball. Fell on top of her opposing player in Schwantes. Looks like everybody's all right. And the ball will belong to the Pioneers. The Cardinals got the ball to begin the second quarter.
Pearson continuing her aggressive play, trying to really get this Cardinal team back on top in this game.
I think you've got a really exciting trio of guards if you're North Central. Howard, Newsom, and Pearson, all freshmen. Lots of time to develop, both individually and as a collective group.
Yeah, and with the game going towards more of a positionless game, you could easily see a 3-guard set of Newsom, Howard, and Pearson later on down the road. And that could, if they can develop their individual games and work well together, that can be a very dangerous trio.
Pioneers suffering from a shot clock violation, turns it over to the Cardinals. Howard has it knocked away by Amanda Hooks. 2:08 to go in the first half. Pearson set to inbound it to Howard. Howard almost loses it, and substitution as Foley checks in. Rebecca Foley joining the team just a few weeks into the season. After taking some time off, she'll check in favor of Maitri Smith. Minute 45 to go, 4-point affair. Oh, and it remains a 4-point affair. Bunny layup missed by Gruber, who's been very good here in the first half.
Those are tough ones.
Howard converts the bucket and will go to the free throw line for an and one. Big time play as the first half draws to a close to try and recapture some momentum.
Yeah, especially after what should have been a layup, and a 6-point lead is now down to almost 1 point.
32-30, chance to make it, like you said, a 1-point game. Rattles home the free throw to do just that. Kayla Stefka checks in. Only a few more possessions remaining in this first half. Howard almost with the steal, and that ball thrown away. You can credit Howard with the steal, essentially with the pressure that she applied.
Yeah, it caused the bad errant pass, and there you go, turnover. Essentially, as you said, a steal.
Walls has it. Finds a cutting Rebecca Foley, and she'll put the ball through the hoop. And she puts the Cardinals up by 1.
Foley's not going to blow you away with the style of game that she plays, but she's just so fundamentally sound, especially when she gets around the rim. She doesn't try and do too much, and usually converts.
Howard, no. And that's the last touch by, ooh, I thought perhaps the Pioneers, but it'll go down the other way. How about on the other end, Gruber with an acrobatic jump shot, layup, floater. I don't know what you want to call that, as she was sliding to the basket from about 8-9 feet out.
And that's possibly something the Cardinals want to talk about at the half, is their transition defense. A couple of easy baskets for the Pioneers here late in the second quarter.
That one thrown over the head of Vickus, and converting the basket underneath is Schwantes, and now she'll go to the line, trying to make this a 3-point play.
And with those types of passes, they're really easy to identify on defense. So the fact that there was no help defense at all off of that is shocking. You really got to come over and double in that situation, get the ball out of the post.
Back to a 4-point game, 37-33. The Cardinals can hold for the final possession. Newsom into the lane, the underhanded left shot. Impressive move for the freshman. 1 second left. Good if it goes, it does not go. 37-35 at the halftime break. The Cardinals and Pioneers battling, scrapping to a near draw at intermission. Second half comes away in 15 minutes. Stay tuned, right on NCTV17. We'll be back inside Murner Fieldhouse. Listen to the cowbell. Welcome back to NCTV17. It's the famous line, I need more cowbell.
Still need more cowbell.
Still need more cowbell. Cardinals still need more points. Second half of play back here on NCTV17. Kevin Jackman, Zach Bucher. Thank you so much for joining us. Hope you had a fantastic new year, happy holidays, and into 2019 we go. Cardinals trying to start off this new year with a new them and a new win. Foul on the defensive end will kickstart our second half. Comes against Carroll. Cardinals really showed some flashes of brilliance on the offensive end in the first half, and then they also showed some inconsistencies. But I think one of the most impressive areas was Allie Pearson. Great first half of play. Yeah,
the offense got off to a hot start. Lindsey Brennan, a couple of three-pointers and a couple of three-point plays, and a three-pointer from Newsom had them going really well, and then the offense kind of lagged a little bit, and then in the second quarter, like you mentioned, Allie Pearson kind of stepped up, scored 5 straight points, hit a 3 that really shifted the momentum and gave this Cardinal team an opportunity to bring the score within 2 to end the half.
Katie Rossetti with the layup underneath, and now Walls with the response on the other end, cannot knock it down. And that ball will wind up out of play. Good atmosphere as the students have returned to Naperville. A 6-week hiatus from Thanksgiving to New Year. And we remark a lot how often the stretch of time between when the students leave and when they come back, a lot of those games just feel kind of barren. As Howard trying to fight for a loose ball, knocks it outside. Newsom thought about taking the 3, now settles into the half court. Actually, she'll take it herself, and
I don't know about that one.
Foul called, and Newsom will go to the line. But a lot of those games kind of feel devoid of some of the energy that you get when the students are here on campus. And, You can feel that here tonight. The marching band's back. The section is back.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, when Brennan hit her 2 3-pointers, if she had hit her 3rd in a row, the roof was going to come off in this place because there's just so much more energy and it's so much louder, and it really gets you pumped up if you're the home team.
Newsom connects on a pair of free throws. 39-37. Both teams have owned a lead. And an offensive foul, pretty easy to pick out of a crowd. That was Rossetti, who was moving as she tried to set one.
And threw her elbow out, too.
It's tough to get away with one, let alone right in front of an official. That was the case on that possession, and now the Cardinals will get it back with a chance to tie or take the lead. 8:42 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Pretty hard to get away with one unless your name is James Harden.
Into the middle of the floor, now kicking out. Lindsey Brennan gets it back. Newsom driving to the basket. Off the glass, no good. Walls stripped as she tried to go back up. And she is the last to touch as it rolls out of play. Rebounding was one of those gripes that Coach Bax had in the first half, as that one's simply thrown away.
Yeah, Majerus not paying attention there. Trying to get a good look in the corner, potentially for a 3-point jump shot, but got to be aware of the ball for that to happen.
But how about that rebounding effort in the first half? At times the Cardinals looked tenacious. At other times they looked content with allowing the person next to them to try and collect. That one out of play. Cardinals will keep it.
Yeah, it especially showed on the defensive rebounds. Cardinals would box out a couple of people, but then not everybody would get boxed out, and you get a couple of hands, a couple of fingertips on a rebound, and it's poked loose, and you get second chance opportunities. And it really hurt them in the first half.
Dimitrova with the jump shot off the feed from Walls. Ties this game up at 39 apiece. Majerus to the basket, floater with the left hand, good.
That was a good screen there. Really got to communicate on defense, screens like that.
Far side, Newsom. Newsom has to back out. Got swamped. And that has boosted their overall totals to 40% from the field and 41 from 3.
Not very often you shoot better from 3 than you do just in general on the floor.
Lofted into the far side corner. Jump shot taken by Gruber, and that's the 2nd time that she has hit almost an identical shot like that. It's a high difficulty shot.
It is, but the unfortunate thing about that is Gruber has about a 5 to 6 inch advantage over Howard. It's kind of easy to pull up, and you don't really have a hand in your face.
Big game for the men.